What's good, y'all? Anime Gaming and Chill here checking in, man. And today is the start of a brand new series, Anime Roles Reversed. So I've been watching a lot of anime lately, and I recently had the thought, what if two main characters from shows switched backgrounds and experiences, but kept their personalities and goals? How would that change the story? Well, we're about to discuss exactly what would happen. So, before I get started, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know whenever I post a video and we're going to get it going, alright? So today, we're going to discuss how it would change the story if Midoriya and Bakugo switched places in My Hero Academia. Arguably, one of my favorite animes at the moment. Let's think about it. Midoriya was actually born with a quirk, while Bakugo wasn't, although he receives one later from All Might. Midoriya would of course have Bakugo's quirk, and Bakugo would obtain one for all. I'd imagine that their upbringing would have changed slightly due to the fact that Bakugo didn't get his quirk at a young age now like he did before. He's the same short-tempered, mean child, while Midoriya is still a wimpy follower and looks up to Bakugo. Bakugo would most likely still be the leader of the pack, mainly because of his strong personality and him constantly reassuring the kids around him that he's going to eventually get the most powerful, amazing quirk. Midoriya still tried to get close to him like before, but it was even harder for him to do so because Bakugo feels like he needs to put up an even bigger barrier between him and Deku because of his pride, and him not wanting to accept the fact that wimpy little Midoriya has a powerful quirk while he doesn't. They both grew up idolizing All Might the same as before, but for Bakugo it was impossible for him to accept the fact that that he didn't have a quirk, leading him to be an even bigger hothead. For Deku, he lost a lot of faith at times and did not have much confidence in himself upon discovering that he would never have a quirk. That's what actually happened, so that's the difference between the two. So time passes, and now we get to the present where Bakugo, was captured in the city by that sludge villain. Except this time around, it's Deku that gets captured by the sludge villain. Before this happened, Bakugo runs into All Might this time and discovers his secret instead, but he reacted a little bit differently. He was a lot less receptive to discovering that All Might was really a frail, weakened version of his true self. It's different for Bakugo because he saw All Might as the strongest person on the planet, a man to be feared and revered. To discover about this form and his injury in the past, it hurt him a lot more than it did Deku. It's the result of his strong personality and the person that he wants to be like the most not being what he expected. In a sense, he lost some respect for him and even talked some junk right to his face right when he saw him for the first time in that form. You can imagine that if you know Bakugo's personality. So, skipping the Deku getting captured and everything, although he has a pretty powerful quirk, he doesn't have the courage or ability to stand up to the villain and kind of freezes up. He doesn't have that motivation like he had when he tried to go save Bakugo when he didn't have a quirk. So, Bakugo, although it's obvious that he's not fond of Deku still because he kept his personality, he still decides to save him for some reason, not known to him. And, they grew up together, and even though he was always mean to him, he subconsciously had an attachment because Midoriya was always around him, always behind him, always following him. So, it would also give him the chance to harp down on him a little bit harder about being stronger than him because he was able to save him even without having a quirk. So in the end, All Might still comes in to save the day, and Deku tries to thank Bakugo for rescuing him and said that he was amazing, and in typical Bakugo fashion, I can imagine him saying something like, "Shut up, Deku, I don't care what happened to you. The villain's lucky I didn't have my quirk yet." So let's skip forward to the time when All Might meets with Deku, but instead this time it's Bakugo. He tries to lecture him a little bit about what he did with the villain and everything. And Bakugo kind of, explodes back, with a little bit of an insult. It says something like, a washed up hero can't try to lecture me because, he was hurt earlier when he found out about the truth. So All Might goes on to commend him for jumping in there with no quirk just to save his friend and told him that he had the makings of a true hero. And he said, "The top heroes all have one thing in common. Their bodies moved before they had time to think. You could become a hero." Bakugo shonen. I had to say shonen because that's what they say in the sub version. So this statement made Bakugo's eyes go really wide. He got teary-eyed, and it gave him like that warm, fuzzy feeling in his stomach. He was happy at that moment. He remembered his childhood when he loved All Might and just idolized him and wanted to be just like him. The man that he admired so much just told him that he could be a hero even when he had some doubts about on his own if he ever would be able to. This is kind of like the same reaction that Midoriya had. So it almost made him smile, and then he snaps right back to reality and turns his back to him, and puts on that little hard front and made an excuse as to why he actually saved him and everything. So All Might goes on to explain how he has the one for all quirk and he wants Bakugo to inherit it. Bakugo was a little bit hesitant because of his pride and everything, while Deku, he immediately kind of accepted it. All Might would go on to explain how powerful one for all is and that he could become a hero greater than himself. This made him reconsider and take his offer. Since Bakugo didn't have a quirk, his desire to be great led him to train his body physically throughout his life in order to still be a strong kid and keep up with everyone else. Kind of like with Asta, in Black Clover. So Deku was the total opposite and was actually pretty weak and frail when All Might tried to give him, the one for all, so we had to train him. Bakugo would actually prove to All Might that his physical strength was already great enough to inherit one for all, and he got to skip most of the trash at the beach training. All Might and Bakugo meet. He tells him, it's time for you to inherit one for all. Bakugo gets a little bit excited, but it doesn't really show it, his personality. He's like, let's get it over with. I'm ready. So All Might goes on to explain the ritual, and Bakugo was actually extremely resilient when he found out that he had to swallow one of his hairs and said that he didn't want to do it. But All Might already decided that he was going to be the successor, so he pretty much had to hold him down and force him to do it. So the next day, Bakugo wakes up with the one for all quirk, and his journey to becoming the number one hero begins. So that's it for this episode of the Anime Roles Reversed. So if you want me to continue this story, if you liked it, like the video, leave a comment down below. Let me know that you want to hear the next part, because I actually want to make it up, but I want to know if you guys want to hear it. I'm probably going to make it up anyway, but let me know. Alright, do you think I was right about how things would happen? Do you think I was wrong? How do you think that them switching places but keeping their personality would change the story? Let me know down below. Alright, so I hope you liked the video, man. Don't forget to like the video, man. Don't forget to share with the My Hero fan. Hit that subscribe button, and I'm going to get out of here, man.